So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Well, today is the 18th. By the way, you hear me? Yeah, I think we're okay. But, well, let me show you. Man, what the f- going on here? Who did that? Who was this you? Who did this? Explain this right now. Who did it? How is it there? So what the fuck? Seriously, how did this? So we have the FOMC yesterday. Fed's all dovish. We buy the bonds. Great. Then overnight, completely retrace the move and go down the other way. So somebody came up in here and sold it. Can you believe that? Yeah, why is the market down? You said it'll be at 4,000. I was all hype. I was like, 4,000 is coming? 4,000 is coming? Yeah, guess not. We retrace. You know what? 4,000 might still happen by Friday. There's a lot of gamma up there. But I can't explain the move in the Treasuries, man. That is it was me, sorry. Ow, Uzi, come on. You know, incorrect password says, yeah, pretty typical. Actually, he's kind of right. How many times have we seen lately where you get this really big move in the bonds and it immediately reverses? Right? I mean, it's a really efficient instrument, so it's really hard when it picks up gains like that to hold them. Well, I am still really shocked. I am really shocked that it came back overnight. Like that was the thing I was least expecting. Holy crap. Anyways, if we go across the rest of the commodities complex, oil is still kind of flat. Gold did really well yesterday, but with the yields coming back, it looks like gold and silver have now retraced some of their gains, which sucks. And here, copper kind of going sideways. So I'm still really concerned about copper. You know, the dollar just whoosh. They retraced about half of it. That's okay. I really don't think that gold and silver should be down the way that they are, but I mean, what are you gonna do? And then Bitcoin over here, you know, they took a jump off of the FOMC, but they're coming back too. Obviously not as hard because it's Bitcoin and they're not actually driven by fundamentals. It's just what they want to have happen, right? You say the 10 years ultimately looking at 3. Well, I can't say that it doesn't make sense because honestly, what happened yesterday? Here, let me. I feel like this should be closer. What do you think? There we go. What really happened yesterday? Nothing. They didn't change anything. So if the market believes that improving fundamentals in the economy is going to push rates up faster than 2022, then they would still believe that, right? So it seems that the market is still calling their bluff. They're saying, no, you doesn't matter what you say, you're going to have to raise them. That's what it seems to me, because he didn't make any fundamental changes, you know? So it's interesting. Okay, so we get news here in 20 seconds. We got the Philly Fed and we got unemployment claims coming. Let's see here. For initial jobless claims, we're looking for 700,000. And for the Philadelphia Manufacturing Index, we're looking for 23. And good morning, Stick. Hmm. Interesting. Slightly higher than forecast by the Philadelphia Fed is really 51.8 versus 23. It's really good. It's really good. I mean, why is that not a buy? So the treasuries are moving down, but I'm surprised that the E-mini isn't like, oh man, that's really good. Manufacturing is good. Hmm. The rest of the market must be as shocked as I am, man. That is interesting. Well, looks like one of my J's already pooped out. It's just gonna reset them up. Okay, so now we're getting a little cluster of volume coming through here. Set these to be 1. Okay, so the treasuries fell pretty hard there. Market makers just letting it drop and it came right back up. So somebody film me. I don't know. I think that the market seems to be saying that the Federal Reserve meeting yesterday doesn't actually matter. The Hill tweeting about Russia recalling ambassador after Biden says Putin will pay a price for interference. That one is I'm keeping an eye on that one. It'd be interesting to see how that turns out because Biden didn't really need to do that. Not saying he's wrong, but okay. 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 So some volume coming in and really pushing through for us. Treasuries selling into 07.5 and some significant absorption now on both sides of that. That's interesting. Hmm. Here are the last 30 years of the Philly Fed. Today's print was the best since 1973. And the market is just kind of ho-hum about it. Hmm. Something weird is going on today. Maybe it's options, you know? The last time the Philly Fed prices paid was here. The 10-year was 15%. Oh, wow, really? Ooh, I wouldn't mind getting 15% on my bonds. Ooh, that would be awesome. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, being able to get a 15% return on your money, like guaranteed? Come on. That is a deal. What's weird today? Everything is weird today, man. Come on. This is I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. So do you see there the 10-year ticked down one tick at 07.5. A decent amount of volume behind it, but it's just one tick. E-mini drops a little. Market seems a little concerned. So a little collapse there. Terry calls photos of him without a mask on the plane malarkey and says it was a momentary accident. Okay, Carrie. Can you link that Philly Fed thing? Sure. Sure. There's the report. There's Forex Live saying that it was the best since 1973. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Still right where it was, huh? That's so weird. Let's see here. Let's tweet about this, huh? Okay, they're going to try again. The party is on. No. Claims spike led by Texas and weather. Cool. Okay, so that means maybe it's not so bad. That didn't look to me like the claims was that bad, like 770 versus expected 700. Treasury yields surge, John Dovish Fed. Jim Cramer says ignore inflation, says the street. Well, I would like to get involved in the treasuries today, maybe, but I don't think I'm gonna, because look at the way it is trading, man. That is, you're gonna get thrashed around in that thing. What's that flush all about? Which flush are you talking about? Good morning, Bill. They're concerned about the yield there for sure. I mean, there's no mistaking that they appear correlated at the moment. Like the E-mini's trying to buy it, but then the 10-year ticks down and they drop back. Overnight high ES flush. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. So here, let's come over to I'll just read you what I read this morning. News Squawk morning rundown. European equity indexes are firmer across the board, but U.S. futures have pared back gains and are pressured with the tech-heavy NQ the underperformer. Then they're just like, okay, coronavirus update, blah, 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 blah. ASX failed to take advantage with the index dragged amid weakness across tech, financials, healthcare, and property. Well, blockbuster jobs report did little to spur the risk appetite in Australia. Nikkei reclaimed the 30K status amid favorable currency flows as Japan makes preparations to end the Tokyo state of emergency on Sunday, although the index then pared some of its gains after reports suggesting the Bank of Japan is to widen the yield target band to plus or minus 25 basis points and scrap its Japanese yen 6 trillion target for ETF purchases. Ew. Both were positive, but with gains in the mainland somewhat constrained. Oh, talking about China now. After China lowered the bar on expectations ahead of the U.S.-China meeting in Alaska and said it will not compromise the U.S. with the U.S. on sovereignty. Blah, 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 blah. Finally, 10-year JGBs were initially stable as participants looked ahead to tomorrow's Bank of Japan conclusion, but then saw a bout of pressure on the reopen from the lunch break following the source reports that the Bank of Japan is to widen the yield target band. So some of the pressure may be from the Bank of Japan, but it's just kind of like, it's kind of weird, don't you think? Do HFTs really get 100% success rate? How can I set up HFTs for cheap? I don't think so. Did someone get... I didn't get hurt, but I don't know. This trade this morning not working out so well. Like, here's the thing is like with where my target is, I mean, if they reach it, they're going to go much higher, right? HFTs are frankly a sign of more mania in cryptocurrency and a strong indication that we are near top. So people are paying for something that literally is not worth anything. It's just like the crypto kitties. And what's happening is rich people are paying a ton of money for these HFTs just to pump it up and create more demand for them. That's what you do. You go and you put the HFT out, and then you buy your own HFT with another account for millions of dollars. And then the headline is, oh, HFTs are going for millions of dollars. So then the next time you sell one, that will also go for millions of dollars because some idiot is dumb enough to believe it. Did you already comment on how? Yeah. I don't know. Like I've read news and everything, but I'm still a little perplexed. It seems like a really strong pushback. Like somebody went crazy, made just as strong of a short overnight as the long was during the FOMC, and I can't determine why. I don't understand your question, financial genius. You pay yourself to make it seem like there's tons of demand. It's market manipulation, basically. You're doing that in any other market, it would be illegal. Big news media pushing for buy the dip, but what the big guys really did was sell the spike. Oh, I don't know about that. Like, the thing is that I don't think that it was Americans that sold it. And I'm betting you there's still a lot of gamma up at 4,000, and that the pressure is probably still going to be in that direction. What's up with the whole decentralized finance? Well, it is all bullshit. Well, it's not that it's all bullshit in that, like, they didn't want to do that, and there's not some value in that decentralization, but the currency has not become that. It has developed in a way that it's not decentralized at all. It's basically been crippled by the block size limit, and Tether has basically become their central bank. How's your garlic coin doing? It was doing good yesterday. Let's look. You guys are asking some questions here that the way that you're phrasing them don't really make much sense, guys. And I'm kind of sitting here like, I talk about this all the time. I don't know what else to say about it. You mentioned lots of gamma at 4,000. So spotgamma.com is the place where you can get that information, and Zero Hedge tweets it a lot. You're talking about the actual high. Oh, wait, are we talking about? Oh, you know what? I thought you were talking about something else. What did I think you were talking about? You know what? It's early. You're talking about high frequency trading, not something else. That's why. Okay. So their question was, is it true? Do HFTs really get 100%? Well, certainly not 100%. 100% success rate. Can I set up HFTs for cheap? No, probably not. So so if you're doing a high win rate, you're either A, taking on a lot of risk, or B, you're doing arbitrage, which means that you're just taking advantage of a really small mispricing. And to take advantage of those, you need to be fast. So most retail traders can't compete in that area because they just don't have fast enough execution. I thought you were saying NFT. That's what the problem was. I thought you were saying NFT, and I was like, no, those are stupid. The other thing that I'll say is that automated trading is a lot of work. It's frankly, it's easier to come in and just click on a DOM and try and put orders through, you know? It's a lot of trying a bunch of different ideas, and a lot, you gotta really know your stuff. And yeah. You're not wrong, Uzi. I don't know if that's him, though. You're going short? I see why. Ace does have a wife. A quite successful one, too, apparently. Okay. Okay. Well, a little bit of short did come through there, Ace. Well, I'm gonna scratch that one because I've been in it for 30 minutes and it hasn't moved. What kind of candy bars? I would avoid processed sugars. That's what I would say. Here's the thing. Trading can be really taxing on your brain and you need those carbohydrates, but if you do candy, you can burn out quickly. You need to take complex carbs, guys. Complex carbs. You know? Eat some fruit in the morning. Okay, well, the treasuries are retracing back up to 07.5 again. Secrets to trading. Seems just really eerie. Are we getting some issues? Are we getting like decreased volatility because of the gamma? So I'm a little concerned if this continues to be constrained today and tomorrow. Then I'm a little concerned about what happens after. You know? You just took the point. I should have taken the 2 points when I got it. Tesla's down 3% overnight, by the way. It's sitting at 680 pre-market. I'm tempted to get back in now because I do still think that it's going to go up, but we should wait until the open, right? We really should. Hmm. Oh, okay. So were able to get Jade to take a trade. Wonder what the deal was yesterday, but it could have been maybe I had them on ES instead of MES. That might have done it. Oh yeah. Oh, good catch. CL taking a hit. Hi from Vienna. Well, welcome. Yeah, I guess it's afternoon for them, huh? It's a interesting market. Well, they're down here, so maybe they just really want to sell it. I don't know. I wouldn't worry about it. Nah, Ace, you're saying too impatient, but I feel like that this is an unusually slow market and that things seem amiss. And as such, it was totally appropriate to take the quick profit. Yesterday, I was freaked out. Well, nobody's really stopping the fall there, are they? Are they going to break the low? Well, I'm glad I got out of my long, I guess, because it's been nothing but down since then. Putin responds to Biden's killer slurs, saying it takes one to know one. Now, that's interesting because when I went on Reddit yesterday and I looked at the r/world news thread on that and sorted by controversial, that is exactly what all of the comments that were the most downvoted and at the top of controversial were saying. Claiming that Joe Biden was a murderer and stuff. There's a lot of open interest at 4,000, but whatever Gamma Chaser needs to remember is that they still didn't cover their 3,900 options. Yeah. You're right, Kyle. But I still think that after the market reaction to the FOMC yesterday, that the natural target should be 4,000 and not 3,900. Market doesn't seem to agree, though, huh? You're right. So it was important to have a line in the sand to change hypotheses. Yeah. The issue I think we have right now is that we had a pretty insane retracement overnight and not much of a clear reason for why. We can just see that the market seems apprehensive about something, and maybe the equities market opens up and they start buying again. But for now, the overnight session is apprehensive about something, and the yields have pushed back down. You gotta realize how much money is being lost by those bondholders every time that it moves down. Are you short the ZB yet? No. I've decided to not touch the treasuries for now. The order flow doesn't look particularly good. It's oh my gosh. It's tilted to the downside, yes, but it would not take much for them to be able to flip it back up. So Feeling awfully sleepy again today. I know I felt like I got a good night's rest. Expiration date for the E-mini is tomorrow. Yes. Is there still a good amount of volume trading on that contract? Let's go look. Quotas. March. There's definitely a lot more in June now, but there's still trade in March. Interestingly enough, the quotes I'm getting on the CME Group website, 39.33, that's correct, for June. September is 39.23, discounted by $10. But then December is 39.57. Well, it looks like that little flush there convinced Brandon to go short. My leg is all bouncy. Forex Live tweets, a big turn in monetary policy is underway. What's this? Take a guess, will they buy the NQ on the open or are they going to sell it? I think that they're going to buy it, but I'm really unsure about my feel for it right now. All the talk in the market today is about bond yields and blaming it on the Federal Reserve, but the news overnight was the Bank of Japan. Later today, the Bank of Japan's policy review is due out, but the Nikkei leaked that they will raise the target yield on 10-year JGBs to plus or minus 0.25 from plus or minus 0.2. This is the current language in the statement. The bank will purchase Japanese government bonds so that the 10-year JGB yields will remain at around 0%. While doing so, the yields may move upward and downward to some extent, mainly depending on developments in economic activity and prices. With regard to the amount of JGBs to be purchased, the bank will conduct purchases in a flexible manner so that the amount outstanding will increase at an annual pace of about 80 trillion yens. They will also say that the ETF buying will only be used in times of market turmoil and that the 6 trillion yen ETF buying target will be dropped, which is bad for their stocks, right? In the bigger picture, the Bank of Japan tightening policy, even in this marginal way, shows you that even the most dovish central banks are turning. It's leading to a flight out of bonds because the only trade in bonds the past year has been to selling them for more than you paid rather than clipping coupons. Given that the entire fixed income market looks like a big Ponzi, you get these rushes out because the mark-to-market losses can pile up quickly. Yep. So I don't know if that completely explains why the market is behaving the way that it is, but if you go in and you say the bearishness is largely because of the Bank of Japan, I don't think that the tech buyers in the NASDAQ will necessarily care about that, you know? Well, Treasury coming back up there too, by the way. Who was it? Tony saying he was short, but now it's above where his entry was. So I'm still kind of in I don't know if it'll be really hard for it to hold any kind of a level at the way that it's trading. Biden's proposed tax hike would apply to people earning $200,000 more or more a year, the White House clarifies. Obama has revealed his NCAA tournament bracket. How are B school students networking during the COVID pandemic and Minecraft-like virtual worlds? Thank God for normalcy. Yeah. I need to know what's on Joe Biden's St. Patty's Day Spotify playlist so I can sleep comfortably at night. I really find it almost, I don't know how to put it. Is just like complete disengagement from all things political right now out in the world, and the stuff that you do see just seems like so dumb, you know? Axie put out a video a couple of days back referencing using a tick chart during volatility. Sure. Or just look at the DOM. I don't know. The thing that's so weird is that when it gets really volatile, it turns into this thing where there's like really no way to really truly aggregate the data, you know? It's like one tick shows you two, you can't see enough. Any other kind of threshold is you miss stuff. Chinese spokesperson tweets, should the EU insist on taking wrong actions detrimental to Chinese interests, we will react with a firm hand. Okay, here's the E-mini. Initial move is a buy. With the right tick, you will see. Well, yeah, I mean, if you go into a one tick chart during those volatile moves, you will see some startling things, yes. But could you actually use it live? It's a little questionable. So there's Brandon stopping out. Not quite filled. I'm tempted to move it up here to this. I must note, tick charts aren't good on all instruments, and yes, you can do multiple go-arounds inside of a minute. Yeah, well, if I was thinking about making my own bar type that would try and compress things so that it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need to be one tick, but with just one range would be sufficient. I don't know. Because in theory, one tick should be the same as a one range, except for that it would show you when a bunch of volume, when it stayed in a bunch of volume in one spot, you know. No, it is trading through, so yeah, like it was struggling at that spot, so I was like, well, let's just take it off. But look, it would have given me the other two. Or no, I'd have to go to 45. Which is what you want to see, the volume in the spot. Yeah, but you could still get that with a one range chart and a volume indicator, right? Or, of course, just watch the DOM. Scalpy, but it is still somewhat constrained here, isn't it? I'm sorry, I just feel so like out of it. Not to get you down, but man, this is like, it's slow, and so like I took the trade and then I'm out and I'm just like, I'm just feel dead. CB is a mess, but easy plays on the edge of the range. Okay. No, caffeine would make me more sleepy, actually. Dan Bogino to take over Rush Limbaugh's radio time slot? Really? Huh. While I suspect this is one that might go higher, but there could be some ugly excursions first. Oh, live action. I saw that. Yeah, they asked Kamala Harris the other day what she thought about the border thing. Because everybody's like, we all know Kamala Harris is really in charge, right? And then she says, I haven't been briefed on it yet. And and everybody was like, wait, what? Like, what are you people doing over there? It's just my chemicals are messed up, man. Because I felt like I slept pretty well last night. I had gone like a week without my multivitamin, so not enough magnesium, and you get that magnesium and you get sleepy, good dreams. It was great. But I just don't have the neurotransmitters going out in there to keep me awake. Now the Chinese are tweeting about all of the Black Lives Matters protests. Being tweets from Chinese spokesperson. UBS on U.S. rates to dots were not a huge surprise, but the market reacted sharply. More to go. Chairman Powell wasn't very supportive, but 30-year strips should be near 2.5. RRR counterparty cap rising to 80 billion tells us a little bit of the SLR outlook. Okay. Of course, the jury is out on whether SLR matters. Anyways. Okay. Well, after a little bit of selling there, they're pushing back up to highs. They're going to push to the 45 for us now. Yes. Good deal. And immediately they sell back down. Really? Well, I would have gotten filled. China's used to be all Bai Zhao, making fun of that stuff till the Wu Mao army realized how effective it is at destroying U.S. social cohesion. So now they promote it. It is, well, it's interesting to me when the way that you can tell, at least I think you can tell that the China is really bothered by things that are happening, is they start trying to point out social problems in the United States, as if people being upset over a man overdosing on drugs is the same as committing effing genocide of an entire race of people like they're doing in China. You know what I mean? It's just like mind-blowingly. Do they really believe that kind of propaganda is even remotely effective on anybody in the United States? Because we all know what you're doing over there. Come on. Yeah, thank you, Kyle. It's just like, it's so weird. Russian propaganda can kind of be like that too, but I think that the Russians kind of know when pushing a certain line is pointless. Race division is a communist tool to divide and conquer. Yeah, I think so. You've seen that happen in the UK too, because that whole thing with the prince and his wife. I can't remember their names now, but she was basically claiming that it's racism, and there was a lot of people saying there was racism, but as far as I can tell, it's just that they weren't royalty. She wasn't like royalty or anything, and didn't know the rules and didn't really want to behave like a royal. So they've kind of been pushing that in the UK to create division. I'm not saying I've seen China doing that specifically, but that's been something that's been dividing them over there, right? China probably is more reactionary than the US, really. I just can't. I don't know, man. I was watching this guy on TikTok the other day. He's a historian, and he knows a lot about like the way that different militaries are set up and like geopolitics and stuff like that. And so the question they asked him was, can the United States stop China from becoming a global power? And his response was basically like, no. Like China has already accomplished that, and the United States needs to prepare for a period of competition like they had with Russia. And, you know, his opinion is that the US needs to fix its political system and its infrastructure. But I'm watching that and I'm like, okay, except for that the Chinese genocide their own people. Like, I don't know. I personally, and he was saying like, unless the U.S. does the nuclear option, but I feel that the United States has no choice but to slowly, and I mean very slowly, try to decouple themselves from China, right? They say those things about the U.S. not because we care, it's for their people, so they feel better about themselves. That's probably is true to an extent. Yeah, I believe Chinese culture is more conservative than the U.S. when it comes to morals. They definitely are, or at least they are turning that way, right? There was like the Cultural Revolution, where there was a concerted effort to root out everything that was essentially conservative or like the old style of stuff, like Confucianism, right? And now they have been moving back towards that again. But I have to wonder how much of that sort of stuff is because like they think that will be more effective and more competitive, you know? Because I can't help but feel like with a lot of the things that we're seeing in the country these days, that it just really hurts American competitiveness. Like this, you know, racial division where it's really just getting people riled up for the sake of getting people riled up, you know? Like, if there's a law people want to enact, then let's hear it. But it's just that we went so progressive. I mean, really, who would know in the 60s that gay marriage and marijuana use would be allowed in some state? Yeah, right? Well, and it's not so much that. I mean, okay, I have always been of the opinion, unpopular opinion, but I've always been of the opinion that people that say, well, you shouldn't care whether gay marriage is legal or not because it doesn't affect you, that's false. The culture, it matters. And it has a great degree of impact on everybody's life. And when your culture essentially promotes people to not have kids, that affects the society. It does. Now, who am I to say whether the impact is really significant or it's good or bad? All I'm saying is it's going to have an impact, right? So when I think about gay marriage, I'm like, well, okay, I'm not so sure that the impact of that is really so significant. But then when I look at things like we should allow trans athletes to participate in girl sports, no, that has such a negative impact on so many people. I'm just like, yeah, you know, that stuff that you think that you're a girl when you were born male, but that doesn't mean that we should destroy all female sports and scholarships. Sorry, but there's more of them, and I'm more concerned for them, you know? is that sort of a thing. And so those are the sort of, it's gotten so progressive that I think it negatively affects the United States competitiveness. You know what I mean? Perfect trap. Yeah, gold is not doing so hot, is it? And it's so interesting that gold continues to do poorly. You ever notice that the trans athletes debate is about getting men into women's sports? How many news stories do you see about some female to male trans person trying to fight men in the UFC? Well, I don't think that anybody would have a problem with that. So they wouldn't be very competitive. Volkswagen ADRS falls 4% after US Open on high volume. No, when you're supposed to ignore him. We got else. See, the trick is to ignore him, because then he thinks he's shadow banned. He could be shadow banned. I'm betting you that some of his accounts are getting shadow banned, and so he's not always sure when he comments if we're actually seeing it. So if you see a comment like that is like obvious trolling, the best policy is to just not say anything. Does that make sense? You didn't recognize him as, yeah. Oh, it's funny. Okay, so a pretty good excursion on the lows and then them buying it back up there. Some wicked moves. Yeah, I was a little testy, wasn't it? Can you have 3 accounts watching? Probably. That's what I'm saying. Like, he probably opens up different accounts on different VPNs or something, and then some of them get shadow banned, and so he has to say something, and if nobody reacts to it, he doesn't know if it's actually been banned. And that's why you might go long periods where he just doesn't show up. It's because he's not able to he's using the accounts that are shadow banned, and he hasn't figured it out yet. So the less that we react to his potential accounts, the better, unless you can ban them immediately. I don't have so many trolls, just one. Just one really super dedicated person. And apparently he does this to all of the live streamers. Okay, so another buying stretch here. Deltas still look pretty equal. Oh, look at that. That was a good flush of volume long. Good trade, good trade. I'm happy with that. You took that one too, Ace? Ah, yep, I see you said long here. Good job. Are you going to let that one run? Oh, wait, live action, why would you do that? Nope, I hit all my targets. I think I'm done. Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking maybe one more. Them treasuries not backing off. Okay. Volume looks good. Hmm. Okay, I'm going to increase my, I know I was like, just one more, but now because of that, I'm going to try increasing my risk to try and take advantage of this. Hmm. Yeah, that hole really screwed him up there. Maybe they continue up now. You can see the way the volume's kind of trickling in now. They're a lot more cautious, aren't they? Oh, we get some news here. What do we get? CB leading index. And natural gas stocks change. Delta drop. Well, you see how they skipped a price and all of a sudden they don't want to trade it? Okay, 0 spot 2 versus 0 spot 3. That's a typically low impact thing. Change in the level of composite index based on 10 economic indicators. Tends to have muted impact because most of the indicators used in calculation are released previously. That's what I thought. Okay. I should have waited for that one. It's okay. It's okay. Odd order flow, yeah. I don't know. It's actually kind of what I am expecting to have happen. Like, you should get some downside excursion, but it should be easy for them to flip back up. Apple weaker. Let's see here. How's Tesla's down. Volkswagen down 10%. GameStop down. There's a lot of things down today. And VIX is up by about 5%. Ooh, yeah, the excursion on the downside in GameStop is not pretty. They're fighting this pivot here. That's interesting. They were just like one tick short of it. Can't believe that I didn't get filled that time. Well, and these sellers definitely pushed harder. I was absorbing in the wrong spot. Brandon not doing so well today. You see his stop loss there again? Why are you taking it short? I guess he'll probably make up some of his losses. I mean, I'd say that on that sequence of events that the sellers probably had the advantage, but it is appearing rangy and like difficult action for both sides. You can see that when they get in a really good move, it retraces. And it's been doing that on both directions. You're also going to get some really confusing bar structures in here. So a lot of the technical traders are going to be confused. Everything's still weak, I guess. Yeah. They may yet go for that low. The treasuries are not backing off, which probably has something to do with it. There's some absorption at 31.00 half. Which is better than if it just came down and then 131 pulled and all that. Like, the treasuries are going to have to sell quite a bit to get through that. Okay, so getting another pretty good buy bar in here. Okay, so that one is looking a lot better. They're fighting for those lows? So what I'm seeing right now, when I look at my inventory cost basis, is similar to before. You've got actually a pretty tight market. So you see they're coming, they're excursion on the upside, excursion on the downside, back and forth. So it's still a battle in here. So they do want the lows, but neither side has a clear advantage yet. Sellers maybe a little bit advantage right now. I mean, we are on their side. They are making money, right? And you can see that for us to make money, we've got to get up to 39.25, right? And look at where my orders are. And I didn't do that on purpose. It's just the math ends up being that. Well, you have gotten some decent pushes on the long side here, but they're just not quite getting to the levels that you'd want on the long side, right? Evidence of thin market on SPY. You can see it's like it seems so close, but they're not able to pull it out. On a 5-minute bar, the last 3 bars have all been hammers. Like doji hammers. How's that for a candlestick pattern? I don't think I've ever seen that before. 3 hammers in a row. I mean, it probably means nothing, but let's just say that it's bullish. Ah, somebody trying to push them into it. Okay, good deal. J2 is making money right now. That's interesting. Should I have gotten out that last one? Oh, I have 2 on still? Probably still down channel? It's hard to say. With that push long, it's definitely going to be read as a bullish sign by technical analysts, but the market here still looks difficult and constrained. So I'm getting that right there. I will take, that was more than I wanted anyways, so that's good. I would say that when I said, okay, I want to take on some more risk because of what happened up here, I did not play that trade correctly at all. But then I used market making methods to make up for it. So you know, could be better. The tick never had big buying. I don't know. You're right. I mean, the tick does matter in that kind of respect, doesn't it? I was just kind of going back to remember when we back tested it and we found that it didn't really help us with anything that you you didn't already get with the mini price, but I do think that looking at that and seeing extreme readings on it as kind of a barometer for how things are going, and like when I come over here and I look at stocks, like all of those risky names, ARK down 3.69, Tesla down 3.26, Volkswagen down 9, Buzz Index down, Apple down 2%, Amazon down 1.5%. Like it's not a good look across the board at all, is it? Well, GameStop sure was able to pull that out. That was looking like that could have been a real disaster at 200, huh? Well, let's see here. What about the dollar? The dollar almost climbing back all of its losses. 91.75 right now. And the dollar getting creamed, oil getting creamed. S&P 500 pushing up another little step there, maybe being able to get over that last high. Bulls, yeah, they're not going to give up. I really still think that they're going to win out. And like I said, what you should see is some sell side excursion, but it should be easy for them to make it back up. And look, they did. I'm not sure why Gabby didn't take a trade off of it, but oh, you know what? I bet I do know. Disable. No, it has tick replay on. Maybe it took too long. Yeah, probably it did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I can't explain why it didn't take one. Oh, maybe it's because she's going to take it short. Are we getting some more numbers here? Oh, yeah, this is the AIA. Then we got bill auctions later today, eh? Negative 11 versus an estimated negative 17. Hmm, 1.4 M earthquake this morning. Around the epicenter of the 5.7 M quake a year ago. Ah. A great name for a hedge fund, slightly winning. The growth of DeFi speaks to the flexibility of Ethereum, which we see as more than Bitcoin's smaller sibling, yes. Yes, but it has its issues too, unfortunately. Oh, are the Treasuries gonna buy now? Thoughts on AMD? Well, I think that they have really great processors right now. I think that their graphics cards are okay. They're well positioned. I do believe that Intel is probably going to claw back some of their losses. So I wouldn't say that it's smooth sailing for AMD. I'm not too familiar with all of their growth plans and balance sheet and all of that. So I really wouldn't factor what I say into your final investment decision, other than that it would certainly, if having a chip maker in your portfolio makes sense, that AMD is certainly the first one I would look at. 5600 is a good CPU, yeah. It's kind of funny, like you get good prices on processors right now. It's the graphics cards though are just like, ugh. Yeah, so see that they did not break the high and they are coming back down again. So I would expect them to come back to 39, 35 and 3/4. And we take it from there. Never thought I'd see people have FOMO with bank stocks. Yeah. Oh wait, what is the banks today? 2.81% today in Goldman. What? That means I make some good money today. Yes. By the way, did you notice Roaring Kitty did a video the other day? He did. He's been tweeting a lot lately too. German car manufacturers are on the rise. Well, I sure feel left out on the Volkswagen thing, huh? But car is not really not mine. I guess that would probably fit in my portfolio, but I think if I pick up another one, it's going to be much more consumer discretionary. Finally, some bids coming in. Oh, I did say that the bonds were going to move back up, didn't I? Yes, very good. Good move on the upside. You know what, though? The 5-year still seems a little depressed. Yeah, there's some spreading coming in. Like all of that steepening from yesterday is kind of coming off, which makes it a hard call on that. Struggling action. Yeah, it's just not. So the buyers are keeping their advantage, very much so. So I think that a break of the highs would be appropriate, but this market is still choppy and difficult and struggling, and you have to be in for a really long time, and and the yields are kind of so. We had so much steepening yesterday. Now it's flattening back out. But the way that they're flattening it back out is by buying the 30. So yesterday when it went steep, they sold the 30 and bought the 5. And now it looks like they're just buying the 30, and the 30 is coming back up because the 5 is still like down there near the lows. But the spread still has quite a bit to retrace. Yeah. And the 2 and 10 is flattening quite a bit too, which 2 and 10 didn't move that much yesterday. Okay, so there was the new highs. Good deal. FOMO long. Well, I feel like I've made my money, I don't know. Doesn't look too bad there at 39.46. I'm going to guess that they're going to need to come back and revisit that moving average first before they can. Yes, in my opinion, 10 is not in play. Only curve arbitration there. 05 half key technically, says Alligator in Discord. I think he's right. So we did just get a little bit more there in the 30 or in the 10. So the 10 backing off there could really help the equities, right? So maybe 45 would be appropriate now. See, there's a little hole right there at 44. I mean, we got a whole hour, so it's... I go into that sleepy bit so quickly. The case against Bitcoin, according to Bank of America experts. Yesterday was some kind of macabre Monty Python sketch, says Rabobank. Let's read this, shall we? I think 39.45 looks okay for a long, but I feel like I've met my targets and I should leave it alone. So yesterday was not the Fetty Bears picnic. Rather, like some kind of macabre Monty Python sketch, the bears all turned up in their nice little waistcoats and boots and were then devoured by the sandwiches. As Philip Maury covers here, the FOMC did not move the median dot plot expectation towards a rate hike in 2023, as had been the whisper, even if there was movement in that direction. The whipsaw result was a drop in 10-year yields, a surge in equities, and a large 1% swing in the US dollar versus many FX crosses. Of course, the sandwiches have only won a single victory over the Bears. More Bears will be back, and this time with mustard and pickles and sriracha sauce. Indeed. Perhaps the most interesting thing is that the Fed, always relentlessly upbeat on the U.S. economy, does not seem to see any sustained inflation. That's a view that must ultimately require a skeptical view of both current fiscal stimulus and a far deeper understanding of U.S. political economy dynamics than any Fed speaker I have ever heard refer to. I doubt the Fed are suddenly reading Marx or Kalecki, even if Gramsci is making more and more appearances. Okay. As the sandwiches strut their stuff, don't forget that ultra-easy Fed and U.S. fiscal policy and the kind of USD move we saw yesterday both help push up global commodity prices, including much of the stuff that goes into a picnic. A recently released report discusses hypothetical global scenarios that could play out if we saw agricultural commodity prices do even a little of what oil prices did in the 1970s. In short, Yom Kippur moved us from a highly regulated to a deregulated neoliberal global world. So could a Yom Kippur help swing us back the other day? Oh, and energy prices themselves are also trending higher. For those who think the answer is automatically no, consider what is going on with virus vaccines. As the Eurosceptic Daily Mail reports it, the EU effectively declared vaccine war on the UK by threatening to block exports of Pfizer's jab. That, as the EU's von der Leyen again stated, all options are on the table, including blocking exports from private companies based in the EU to countries who have bought and paid for the vaccine, but which have higher vaccination rates than the EU, which has been openly lobbying against one of the vaccines it does have because it's made in the UK. What is this? Is a thing? Really? I did not realize. Well, I guess there was hints of it in reports, but okay, now that they're at like 41, 42, maybe I'm feeling a bit more like taking a trade, but it really shouldn't have felt that 44 either. So I still think I don't want to touch it. Anyways. Because it's made in the UK, many allege, because of safety issues, say others, not looking at the UK data to the contrary. Meanwhile, the UK are also accusing the EU of trying to set up a border in the Irish Sea. And food is again at the heart of that issue, though, of course, the loss of a favorite sausage from Northern Ireland supermarket shelves is not the same scale of crisis as COVID-19 or the scenarios discussed in our report. Let's conclude with another food producer who will be watching US-China talks with binoculars. Australia, today's job data down under were their unusual magic selves. With just under 2 weeks until the key job keeper scheme ends, apparently 89,000 jobs were created in February, which is the kind of figure the U.S. needs to see on a population-adjusted basis for its own projected magical recovery. The Aussie unemployment rate also fell from 6.3 to 5.8. If one actually believed this data were true, then how is it in any way comparable with the RBA's stance that rates are on hold until 2024 and that the labor market is ice cold and not red hot? Obviously, the Australian dollar is up and away on the back of that Fed inaction and the local data. But are the RBA also now secretly reading Marx and Kalecki and grasping why rates can't go up and wages never will? Come on, they prefer Marx and Spencer. As with the Fed, they are proffering a cyclical solution to a structural problem that actually makes the structural problem worse unless the overall recipe is changed. I disagree on that last part. Like the thing is there's the argument that they want to make and that Zero Hedge always makes is, oh, we should just have sound money, like a gold standard that is always solid and isn't susceptible to inflation and so on and so forth. Well, that's not really possible. You can't compete with China without a currency that you can adjust according to the economic conditions. So then we've got this issues caused by, taking on all of this debt. So what do you do about that? And the only choice that they really have under that scheme is to either trash the whole system or to just keep pumping money into it and hope that you get enough growth out of it that you pull yourself out. And so that's kind of the path that we've been going down. And some people don't think it's going to work. But usually the way that these work is that it will work for a long time until the next crisis comes along. And then it'll be like, oh, no, wait, we were supposed to make more money before that happened. Okay, so looking at the robots, Brandon just doing terrible today. It's been a range-bound day, so that's what I would expect from him, and he hit his loss limit and stopped trading, so good deal there. J and J2, so J2 did lose a little bit, but less than J, so that's a feather in his cap. $91.71. I don't know. They're holding okay here now that they've come back. Do you still want to be in a trade now? Like it's just this kind of looks to me like we made our thing, and this looks dangerous, you know. Like if we were just trending up and moving to 4,000, like I thought, it'd be a different story. Vlad says oil down 4%, not great. Yeah, it's actually surprising how hard oil has come back here on what appears to me to be just problems with the dollar and supply. Like just stronger than expected build. Okay. Well, they come all the way back to the open now. Back into the war zone, is it? The 30-year did pull back there a little bit. Who is this guy? We are witnessing a potential revolution in Fed thinking about how to manage inflation, manage the economy, and manage the risks around the economy and inflation. Morgan Stanley CIO of Global Fixed Income Michael Kushma says. I've never heard of this guy, and he has this weird looking hair here. Who is this guy? Look at this. Have you seen this guy? I guess that must be white hair, not blonde hair. Let's look up other pictures of him. Ah, yes, I see. That's more what I would expect from the Wong. He was just having a bad. It's a mop. He's got a mop. Well, they sure dug that one out easily, didn't they? In the Bulls, I don't know. They're stopping right there at 39.4250. Court dashes formal Deutsche. Court dashes former Deutsche Bank traders' hopes of acquittal. These are the guys that were spoofing, right? Former Deutsche Bank traders James Vorley and Cedric Chano, convicted of spoofing, suffered a heavy blow on Wednesday at the Illinois Northern District Court. The Honorable what am I problem today? I'm just like, I promise I'm not having a stroke. The words are just not coming out of my mouth. The Honorable John J. Tharp Jr. denied the traders' motions for acquittal or a new trial. The judge has yet to issue an opinion on the matter, so no arguments for the ruling were given. Sentencing hearing in this case will be held on Monday, June 21st, 2021 at 10 a.m. Oh, that's so far away. I want to see them go to jail. Oh, okay. Let's recall that in September of 2020, Vorley and Chenau were convicted of 3 counts and 7 counts, respectively, of wire fraud, affecting a financial institution. The traders allegedly engaged in a scheme to defraud other traders on the commodity exchange, which was run by the CME Group. The defendants defrauded other traders by placing fraudulent orders that they did not intend to execute in order to create the appearance of false supply and demand and to induce other traders to trade at prices, quantities, and times that they otherwise would not have traded. And they pushed through there, so I guess that was a buy. I was like, should I buy it at 41.50? I should have bought it at 41.50. Should have. The answer was yes, past Seth. You should have bought it. As FX Group has reported, Vorley and Chenau have pushed for acquittal. Their main argument is that the government's opposition fails to address most of the context of trading on an anonymous electronic exchange that allows for all kinds of conduct that could be characterized as quote-unquote deceptive. Vorley and Chenau stressed that trading was conducted on an anonymous exchange where traders were permitted to trade on both sides of the market and cancellations occurred all the time within milliseconds. The exchange also allowed traders to misrepresent actual supply and demand by using icebergs or to trade invisibly by placing immediate or cancel orders. In this type of trading, traders may have tried to guess at the subjective intent of other traders. However, the orders themselves did not communicate anything beyond an intention to trade at the prices and quantities specified if they were executed before they were canceled. Apparently, the court did not find the defendant's arguments convincing. Well, he does have a point there on icebergs, which is that, there is all sorts of things you can do on the exchange that might be deceptive, but spoofing in particular has been made illegal. So, and they were very clearly doing that, and they were very clearly coordinating it too, which is the big thing. But, that's the thing is, in my opinion, should the exchange have the iceberg order functionality? I don't believe that it should. But if they didn't have it, then people would just do it synthetically. So I guess they might as well make money off of it since you can't stop them. That, or Jay would just wait for you to trade into it and then hit it back with market orders. Oh, that feels so sleepy. I just want to go to sleep. I hope that when I'm saying that it doesn't make you sleepy. I feel so self-conscious when I go quiet, It's like here in Brazil, lottery and casinos are prohibited, but government has their official lottery. Yes. It really is not. There's a lot of things in society. I mean, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, people will look at some of the things that you're allowed to do in the economy and be like, that was so unfair. I can't believe that was allowed. I see you, Mr. Person in the future, doing historical research about what was happening in the stock market during this time. I agree with you. There's lots of things they do they shouldn't be allowed to do. Oh, let's read this one that was the case against Bitcoin. According to Bank of America experts, blooming institutional adopted... I want to be able to read this well. Come on. Hi, person in the future, right? That's probably just me. Okay. Booming institutional adoption has lifted the world's largest cryptocurrency to meteoric new highs this year, but Bitcoin's underlying technology has also piqued the interest of central banks looking to forge their own digital currencies, a move that Bank of America warned Wednesday is bad news for the cryptocurrency market. Nonsense, Bank of America. Everything is good news for Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what happens, they always interpret it as positive and buy it. Key facts: a growing number of central banks, about 86% according to the Bank for International Settlements, are actively exploring the development of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, in an effort to defend their territory from cryptocurrencies, Bank of America analysts said in a Wednesday note to clients. CBDCs effectively combine the efficiency of cryptocurrency transactions with the safeguards of a central bank-backed asset like cash. And though highly radical, their implementation would also make it easier for governments to implement the monetary policy measures that have helped keep the economy afloat during the pandemic. That's not good news for private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, the analysts note. Government-promoted CBDCs would likely displace cash and other cryptocurrencies in the long term by inevitably reducing demand for both. That's particularly bad for Bitcoin, whose booming prices have been exclusively dependent on the heightened demand that's outpaced the token's fixed supply. Bank of America says, pointing out that Bitcoin's volatility makes it impractical as a store of wealth or payments mechanism, unlike the allure of a CBDC. The European Central Bank has helped lead the charge on CBDCs, calling for a digital euro that safeguards the role of sovereign money in the digital era, while blasting other cryptocurrencies as quote-unquote highly speculative assets. In a February note, Macquarie Capital analyst said that the Federal Reserve and ECB could debut their own CBDCs as soon as next year, as governments ramp up regulation in the space that discourages consumers from embracing other tokens. A move the analysts say could lead to crypto prices tanking below current levels. Tanking, probably an overstatement. Understatement. Understatement. It'll be like, okay, if governments ramp up regulation in the Bitcoin space and do something about Tether, like, assuming that the 2017 run was also due to Tether, then in reality, Bitcoin would never have gone anywhere after the Mt. Gox crash, if not for fraud, right? So if governments introduce speculation, yeah, it's done. Like, there's a spot where I continue to say that, like, you might never get another bubble. Like, it may come down and it may increase based off of mining, but without, like, an actual economy behind it, there is a real risk that it just kind of dies out or gets supplanted by something else. Seth living in 2050 after quantum computing have taken out retail investors entirely. Hey guys, let's check this old video. Oh man, markets were so easy back then. Look, 3 hammers. I tell you, so I put that 3 hammers thing in there, and somebody in the somebody new in the Discord channel was like, wow, that worked out really well, Seth. Thanks for that one. And I was like, well, I didn't necessarily think that it meant anything, and I didn't even say if it was a long or a short. You're just assuming that I knew what it meant. Based off of how typically people read a hammer, 3 hammers in a row should be a bullish sign, but let's hear, what did they say? Oh man, be careful. CFTC could be at your door for issuing calls. Well, I mean, as long as it is okay for me to say I think that it's going to go up or down, as long as I am not giving information that I know to be materially false. Like if I come in and I say, oh guys, everybody buy the dip in Volkswagen because the CEO is in this for the long run and they've got this big stuff in store that they haven't even shared with us yet, and man, you don't want to miss, none of that is true. I don't know anything about what's going on in Volkswagen. But if I were to say that and present it, then that would definitely bring the SEC and the CFTC calling, right? It's kind of funny what gets prosecuted and what doesn't. Like this guy, he must have pissed off the wrong rich guy is what must have happened. This guy yesterday that got hit by the SEC for saying all that stuff about a cannabis company. But then I look around at all of the like outright scammers on YouTube, and I'm like, why doesn't anybody ever do anything about them? Well, the E-mini recovered that drop back to the open really easily. So it looks like we could have another bullish day. It looks like maybe, possibly. I don't know. How do they get? I don't know. The overnight move was unexpected and presents a large number of challenges in trying to analyze what the next steps are. Well, after all of that, we still got 30 minutes left. Oh, and there's a new high. Yes, sir. I'm noticing that you get some pretty good stacks before that happens. And lately, seeing it move in a big limit order stack behind it has been a good sign. Well, so that one, they did it and the order canceled. Yeah. Let's see what the Buckheim guys said about. Did they pick up on that article? Because they're saying almost exactly what I've been saying about that. Yeah. Somebody complained about transferring $35 in Bitcoin cost him $20 in transaction fees, and the moderators removed the post. Look at those offers at 50 OEM. Well, that's a pretty round number, though. You should always expect there to be a big order at a round number. If it was 4,000, there would probably be 500 there. Actually, we probably can't see that far away, can we? Nope. We move up another 20 points, then we'll look at it again. Yeah. Not all round numbers are made. Well, yeah, some numbers are more round than others, right? I think that the treasuries are better examples. If you're at even 154 even, well, we can't see it anymore, but there's a decent amount on there. I bet you that before, when we were further down here, there was a lot. They tend to put them at 16 evens and then like twos. So like 12, 20, 24. But yeah, okay, so like there's one at 16, 154, 16, right? There's one at 155. Like they're always there. And then you'll tend to see them at like highs or previous highs. But I've never been able to game out anything that it means anything. Like, I guarantee you, the instant that you start saying, there's orders up at 39.50, that must mean that we're going to move up in that direction. That's exactly when they're going to turn around and start selling on you. I did that strategy for a long time, actually. That was one of my first things. It's a market profile number. Being a round number is just a coincidence. Well, that's why I was pointing out to you this on the ZB that there's always stuff at evens and 16. I just need $20 on the trade, and then it gets before 19 and reverses hard. Yeah. Well, I bet you. This keeps being one that I like. I'll say in my mind that I should go and test, and then I don't do it. But I bet you that if you took a 15 tick profit versus a 16 tick profit, that it would make a meaningful difference to your stats. Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen it do a 16 tick move and then come exactly one tick short before going back. Or like when I was backtesting J, the original J, because the original J, did pretty great on the backtest. And what happened was the difference between the backtest and the actual execution was like one tick. You'd get 1 tick different entry, and that completely destroyed the profitability of the system. 1 tick. Can you believe that? But like, it made like a 1 or 2% difference in the win rate, and that was all it took. Crazy, right? Oh, he took 35 ticks. A good job. Oh, I've never heard of this one before. Where should we... Somebody just posted a PDF in here. Let's look at it. Anyone else getting a delay in the stream? No. I don't think you should be. I'm thinking about ending it, though. Or is it just me running Camtasia, Zoom, 5 charts, and YouTube? Oh, yeah. That would do it. Oh, you know what, Ace? I was thinking, because you need a new machine. And given the price range that you're looking at, you should just go do a Redux. See this buildredux.com. Let me show you this. I'm showing you this because every time that I want to remember the name of this website, I forget. But basically, these guys are making computers designed for gamers that supposedly has no markup. They just charge you $75 to build it. Okay, so here you can start your build. Okay, and then you can choose your budget. I'm just going to do the good one. There's only good, better, and best. All right. Yeah, my understanding is that these guys are the I think it's Origin PC guys or something like that. I can't. It's one of the well-known makers that are doing it. And you just come in here. I'm not going to say I play Counter-Strike. It doesn't matter what you select. I don't need a new machine. I want a new. In my opinion, from what I've been hearing from you, for your trading, you would benefit significantly from a new machine. Okay, so anyways, you come in here. This is like the base model, right? It's giving you a pretty crappy CPU. But then you can come in and you can kind of change those things. So processor. So if we moved up to the Ryzen. Oh, do I have to do it as an Intel? Oh, wait, why won't it let me change it? That's correct. There we go. So 3600 will bring it up a little bit. Memory, let's do 32 gigabytes. That brings it up a little bit. Storage, I think we're fine on that. Yeah, we're fine on that. Then Windows. Maybe you don't need that. That'll help. But if you're nervous about building your own PC, that's one way to go. You will get a cheaper PC if you... Isn't 32 gigabytes overkill? No. Well, I am finding that I'm using more than 16. Yeah. So right now I'm probably not. Let's go look. So I've got a lot of stuff running in NinjaTrader, and I am using 45% of my memory, which is about 14.5 gigabytes. Okay. Now I've got a lot of tick replay sort of stuff running. So, oh my gosh, how come? Well, let's look. Well, Brave browser uses a lot of memory. I'm not nervous at all. So then just do it. So I've got, so let's close the 2 tabs that I don't need. And that didn't help a whole lot. I've got 3 tabs open. I got my live streaming on YouTube, I've got TweetDeck, and I've got Financial Juice open. But just those 3 things is using up a gig of memory, apparently. And then when you add everything else that's running on this machine, maybe I need to and I've got Fidelity going too. That certainly doesn't help. Node uses 100 megabytes. That's probably... Avic Ben uses 100 megabytes? Really? Really? Maybe I just need to... Thinkorswim eats memory like alt. Well, yeah, because it's in Java. Java uses a lot of memory. C# really uses a lot of memory. We will make it a play date. We should. You should just, freaking get the vaccine already. Because here's the thing. My wife has been working on the weekends. So it's just me and the baby. I've been hanging out with my parents, but, they can only... We got to get the... And I was thinking, I was like, this would be the perfect opportunity to, go to the aquarium or something. But then it's like, yeah, but there'd be all the masks, and I don't know, man. It's just... Another month or two. You're trying to get the vaccine? You're thinking of dressing up like an old woman. I'm surprised that you didn't catch it. But that's okay. Yeah, man, this PDF has 19 pages in it. It's not very professional, though. I also don't think that the strategy that they're describing would actually work, but... Me too, except I have the immune system of a Sherman tank. Oh, really? I don't get sick very often anymore, but when I do get sick, it's worse. Maybe it's just because you're not used to being sick, so it hits you harder, but man, I feel like that some of these days when I've been sick, and the thing is that so then I don't work out because I don't want to weaken my immune system, and then... every time I go back, though, it seems like I'm just fine, but I'm really concerned about getting weaker. Hey, Burek. Well, the Treasuries really died out there. They came back a little bit and are just flat now. A little concerning. Yeah, Pierre, you're kind of late. We're almost ready to leave today. Buzz with the kids. What did you miss? I don't know if you really missed anything. Will history repeat? Household portfolios are oversized, unbalanced, and vulnerable. Oh, tell me more, Zero Hedge. And then we shall quit for the day. Once again, household portfolios are oversized and unbalanced, driven higher by a massive gain in single asset equities. Unbalanced portfolios have been proven to be vulnerable to abrupt and sharp corrections. Will history repeat? The most significant vulnerability for household portfolios is a sharp rise in market interest rates, and the odds of that happening in 2021 are far greater than what is expected by investors. I see. Household net worth increased an astonishing $12 trillion, nearly half of which was due to the unprecedented gain in equities market valuation. The boost in equity values, $5.7 trillion, was the second largest on record, better only by the 2019 gain, and the fact that it occurred in a year marked by recession makes it even more unusual. In the recessions of the early 2000s and 2008-2009, declines in household equity holdings were in the trillions of dollars. The surge in wealth lifted the ratio of household net worth to income to a record 753%. That's 100 basis points above the record highs recorded at the housing bubble's peak and nearly 150 basis points over tech equity bubble period. High wealth to income ratios are not necessarily predictive, but have been proven to be signs of vulnerability and tipping points. I see. Household portfolios are the most vulnerable when a single asset class dominates. At the tech bubble, a peak household holdings of equities equaled 26% of asset holdings, nearly twice its historic average. At the height of the housing bubble, the market valuation of real estate accounted for 33% of total household assets, almost a third above the norm. In 2020, history was repeating itself as equities accounted for 27% of total assets, above the tech bubble level. Even after reaching record levels, equity investors are bullish on 2021, with many expecting double-digit returns. The equity investor's paradise, profits and valuations don't matter. Interest rates never rise and stock prices only go up. In reality, none of that is accurate, and 2021 will test investors' mettle. Growth expectations for 2021 have ratcheted up, and so too have investors' expectations on equity returns. Several analysts are expecting the fastest growth in the U.S. economy since 1984, when the economy grew 7.2%, generating solid gains in companies' earnings and higher stock prices. The economy in I don't want to read any more of this. Some analysts predict that a 2% 10-year up only 40 basis points from current levels would trigger a 20% correction in stock prices. How big of a drop in equity prices if a 10-year yields rise to 3%? Investors are warned. That's a little scary, guys. But don't worry, Powell's got it, right? He's told us that he's got it covered. Well, since I've gotten up here, it's been kind of quiet. They might continue, floating up the rest of the day. I also wonder what happens when the London closes. So maybe they buy up after that. Who's still short? Did anybody? Were you guys going short? Wait, we were going short today? Nobody told me. I went long. This whole guys. All this time. I could have been cheerleading on the short side, man. I could have been like, oh my gosh, guys, look at this. Ugh. They tried making a hammer and it didn't go anywhere, and they pierced the bottom of it, and then that didn't go anywhere. And then it did it again. Like, sellers are really strong, and they're going to keep trying until they get it. And we should sell it here. Well, I mean, I would have been wrong, but I made money on long and then lost. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I kind of did that too, actually. I made 2 good trades, and then he took a third trade where I was like, okay, I should be able to buy this. And I was early. So I did dumb things and got away with it. So, I was just thinking about how, I'm much more like a liberal, like free thinking and exaggerated ways of talking and so forth with not having the Adderall. But I also keep having those like, it just makes me so tired, guys. Anyways, will get me back to a typical healthy neurotransmitter level where I am active and alert when I need to be and feel good. So, next week. And you know what? I'm just disappointed that gold came back down. I was getting excited about it. I guess if we come here and we look at AG, it's not bad. But I was really hoping that they were going to be up at like 18 today, So them options ain't going to let it get too far away from 17, probably. All right, well, guys, what should we name today's video? Market slump as treasuries give it all back. All right, guys. I will catch you tomorrow. Stay profitable, friends.